And then there was one race to go in the 2018 Pirelli World Challenge TCR and TCA Championship, and at one legendary venue. Welcome to the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Watkins Glen, presented by TM Performance. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Calvin Fish. Gino Carini also with us for our coverage of this final round of the 2018 TCR-TCA Championship, and couldn't unfold at a better place. And I'll tell you, Cal, it's a great place to finish a season that was much anticipated when it started, and I think in many ways has lived up to all the expectations. The first year of TCR as a standalone class in World Challenge.
Just fabulous racing. What a race car this TCR machine is. It's the global platform, 2-liter turbo engines, front-wheel drive, no driver aids. TC or ABS is allowed in any races that's under 60 minutes, which we obviously have here with the 40-minute race today. We've seen 5 different manufacturers involved in the championship, and certainly the future looks bright.
It does indeed, and of course all season long they've also run with the TCA class cars, which has made for some great racing in general as well, and that makes it an awful lot of fun. And as the season has played out, we've certainly enjoyed calling it. But now we're down to this final round of the championship. Championships are indeed in play. A couple have been clinched, but others are all on the table, and we're looking forward to this one unfolding. But of course, as always, these are doubleheader weekends. Let's take a moment and go back and look at some of the highlights from yesterday's 11th round of the championship. And at the start, Ryan Eversley, the pole sitter, got a great jump. Mark Wilkins kind of laid back a little bit, and that allowed his teammate Mike Lewis to slot right in behind Eversley.
It certainly did, and Lewis is the closest contender to the championship leader, Ryan Eversley. You can see in the early laps here, Lewis all over him, but cannot make the move.
Then we had a bit of a moment for Jenny Gannett, who's been having a great late part of the season, but as you can see, some serious engine issues. She had to park the car. Mechanical issues for one of the front runners in TCA, Eric Powell, done after a frustrating practice and qualifying run. Eversley and Lewis, they got off into their own battle. There were actually 3 great battles for position that unfolded on this race. Lewis was relentless, but he just never could get it done. And Mason Filippi had a breakthrough weekend.
He really did. On a restart, he got around Mark Wilkins. Despite Mark Wilkins' best efforts, he couldn't make the move back.
And then the great battle here with the 71 VW hanging on for a while in front of the 77 Audi of JT Kupal. Tom O'Gorman had a dominant win, but in post-race tech ended up, that was taken away from him, which allowed Spencer Patterson, who was able to sneak around Travis Wache, who came back to run, and get the win. O'Gorman winning on the track. However, it was Patterson who would eventually get the win. Didn't really hurt Tomo too much. He'd already clinched the championship for the TCA category. But Eversley's win, that was a biggie, and you could see there was serious emotion inside that car when he parked it.
Yeah, it certainly was. Great respect by those 2 drivers. No argy-bargy involved, and Ryan Eversley sprays the champagne.
There's a look at Tom O'Gorman, who says, well, we'll just have to go after it again today and see what we can put together. So that's how intense things went yesterday. Quick look at our race analysis. This track, almost 3.4 miles in length, 11 turns, and they are fast, swoopy corners. And after a repaving in 2016, the grip on this track is unbelievable.
It really is, and these TCR cars literally fly around this racetrack. I mean, the lap times are just sensational, close to GT4 speeds.
And they have put on an absolutely great show. They're very aero cars. They're aero-dependent cars, but not so much that they can't run close together, as we saw in yesterday's race, where for much of the race, for instance, Lewis was right up underneath Eversley's wing, and they just went at it like that, lap after lap after lap. And then when they get into the TCA traffic, these races have proven to be very entertaining and wholly unpredictable, and that's made them awfully attractive as well. In this final round, round 12 is just about ready to get underway. You can see the field lined up, and they will be heading out. It will be a rolling start. We'll do a rolling start for the final round of the championship. Don't want any stalls or the like to decide championship scenarios. And so that's the plan here, and that means it's time to get that plan executed. And with that, we go down to the front of the grid, and Gino Carini for the special command to get this race underway.
Absolutely, guys, and it is a special command for the final round of the Pirelli World Challenge TCR race. We have a local, Scott Madison.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there's the command, and this field jumps to life. There is Ryan Eversley, who will start second. Michael Lewis, even though he couldn't get around Ryan, he did end up getting fast lap, and that's what put him on the pole. But the story in terms of the points championships, Cal, was Eversley's win.
It really was. It was a huge win, his third win on the season. Gives him a 10-point lead. However, that's been cut to 9 with Lewis fast lap and the pole position for today. But a top 5 will clinch it. I'll be curious to see Eversley's approach to this race today.
And as we continue with our Pirelli storylines, how about that manufacturer championship? Hyundai looks awfully well played.
Well, a strong pairing with Lewis and Wilkins. A number of victories between them. That clinches the title early. That will take the reins off Michael Lewis and Mark Wilkins today. They can go for it. They haven't got to worry about that manufacturer's title. And I think with that in mind, you'd have to think that Eversley will be a little bit conservative, maybe allow Lewis to have that lead, maybe even let Wilkins by and just shadow them.
All right, as this field makes its way out onto the track here, you can see that number 98 of Lewis on pole. This is September's National Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, and Hyundai has their Hope on Wheels all over the car here. It's the charitable initiative that supports pediatric cancer that Hyundai so strongly supports. So we wanted to get that in. Thinking about the TCA category, let's get down to Gino, because Gino, we talked about the issues that befell Tom O'Gorman. What actually happened?
Well, what actually happened is paperwork. It comes down to paperwork. Some of the paperwork for Tom O'Gorman's car wasn't filed on time, which apparently did not require the brake package that they had, and now they are being brought to the back of the pack to start from the back, and he's going to work his way through. He's not worried so much about the Drivers' Championship anymore. He is going to try his butt off to get to the front of the pack and win that Manufacturers' Championship for Honda.
Well, and you lead in, Gino, to exactly the story, the effect of that DQ on the manufacturer's pack.
Well, it was huge. I mean, it was a massive thing that was going to be really tight between Subaru and Honda, but by losing that win and losing the points yesterday, it's really thrown it totally in Subaru's lap.
So Tom O'Gorman has his work cut out for him, but we have seen him able to do that today. The interesting thing, the guy right in front of him, the number 95, Eric Powell, who's had a tough weekend, he has been wicked quick this year in his championship, was a contender, just had one of those weekends, and looking forward to those two guys at the back coming up through the back.
Well, you're supposed to be impartial, but I'd love Eric Powell to have a good race here today. It's been a tough second half of the year.
It has indeed. Will he be able to do it? Well, we will find out when we come back to Watkins Glen for the final round of the Pirelli World Challenge TCR and TCA Championship. Lights are out on our pace vehicle. We are getting ready to go green here at Watkins Glen. Big thanks to the folks from BMW M-Power for providing our safety vehicle for the weekend. Eversley sits there, points leader, but he's got the guy who's hounding him in the points on pole to his inside. And there's the wingmen for each of them, the 44 Filippi, who proved he can get that job done yesterday beautifully. And we know Mark Wilkins' capabilities. But I'll tell you, the guys behind them, JT Kupal, Nate Vincent, and the VW and the Audi, they have been showing some real speed. And then you see the little bit of a gap back to the starters in the TCA competition, and Travis Wache will start on the inside of that one in his Indian Summer Racing VW. There they slot into view here as the field getting ready to head onto the front straight and start this final 40 minutes of competition for 2018. You take a look at what Lewis has done this year. This is his 6th pole that he's been able to put together. Now that's 50%, over 50% coming in here. But will he make it last down to the exit of turn number 1? We're ready to go green. He gets the little bit of a jump, and that's just enough, it looks like, Cal.
Yeah, really side-by-side action between Philippi and Wilkins, though, down into the brake zone. Eversley gives that first turn to Lewis. I expected that. Wilkins around the outside should slot into the 3rd position with a big run on Eversley up the hill.
And JT Kupal got a great launch and has joined right onto the back of... is that Mason Filippi? Yeah, he is right there. Then the 2 VWs. There's the number 72 of Vincent. And Girazzi, a great start, splits those 2 VWs, actually.
Nice run there by Anthony up the hill and grabs that position. Lewis, what a start. He has gapped everyone by about 3 to 4 car lengths as they hit the brakes for the inner loop for the first time.
Down and through, once again. These cars all front-wheel drive. Lots of power compared to the weight. JT hanging right with everybody right now. Now Girazzi has actually got around both of the VWs. That was a stellar start. There's Travis Wache into the lead, and look at how much ground O'Gorman and Powell have already made up. By my reckoning, that's 4th and 5th.
This could be a fun one. If both cars hang in there and have reliability today, this will be a nice race to watch between Powell and Tom O'Gorman. The fierce battle for the championship up to about the halfway point, then Powell's just had a rough run of luck of late.
And the guy who's looking in his mirrors and seeing those two guys coming is the 07 of Jose De Silva, who had a great run yesterday into a top 5. Looking to doing a full program next year. Very excited, wanted to get back at Dunlap. Oh, problems for Powell. It continues again.
Unbelievable, and damage behind them. Two cars getting together.
PJ Gronke and the 22 of Britton Williams, I believe. Unbelievable. I wonder if that's fluid. Yeah, that's exactly it. Oh, man. And, of course, what's just so ironic and tragic in the sense is that PJ drives a Tech Sport car, which is the same thing that Powell has.
You see Powell's heavy smoke coming out of the toe of the boot, but the car's continuing to run. That's the good news.
Absolutely, and they've got Jeff Sexton that is trying to come up along. Meanwhile, up front, Eversley.
Where is Lewis?
Lewis has dropped to 5th.
Wow, what happened? Michael Lewis, no, I don't see him. He's in trouble. He is in trouble. Did he cut down a tire or something? Is some kind of issue there with the number 98 Hyundai?
Well, he got a full course caution, so that certainly could end up helping him a little bit. But if he's got a problem like that and has to pit, oh boy, that just is going to open the door wide open for Ryan Eversley. Trying to spot Lewis in the back. There he is. It's tough to tell if that car is.
He looked a little bit squirrely up and over the curb on the exit of turn 1, but let's take another look here. He had a healthy lead through half a lap. Let's see what happens.
That's just the incident, actually. Watch what happened here. Watch the second car and screen.
We see massive smoke there from Powell. Gorman right behind him, then a couple of cars back. Two are going to get together. There you see it right there. 25 spins by himself.
I would guess his rears got onto that fluid and snapped him around, and then nowhere to go, unfortunately. So that's where Britton Williams got in and got hit. So Gronke in. And he had come in here. He had 2 podiums to start the season as the reigning TCB champion. Then everything went wrong, and he said, couldn't wait to get here. Put up a podium run yesterday, and it was like, all right, he's back. And now this. That's unfortunate for Britton Williams. He can't even get that car moving, Cal.
Yeah, this is really an unfortunate finish to the season. You want to finish off on a high, of course, and this first lap incident has ruined both of their days. Curious to know exactly what happened to Lewis there on the end of that opening lap. Had a healthy margin over Eversley, and suddenly he's plummeted down the order.
And Britton Williams in that number 22, First Wealth Financial Group Subaru. Tough day for him as well, obviously. He'd come in here with a good bit of amount of momentum. He's had a few top 5s this year, got his best finish at Portland, and that has gone awry. There is Mark Wilkins, the number 99. He is your Optima Batteries Best Start Award winner, up 2 spots on that opening lap. And, of course, one of them at the expense of his teammate, championship contender, Michael Lewis. We're going to try and find out, of course, what may have happened with him.
Well, after Portland, Mark Wilkins effectively became the support role in that team because Lewis was the only guy who really had a real chance at getting over Eversley in the points table. Suddenly it may turn back to Mark Wilkins to lead the Hyundai charge for a victory here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So as the cleanup continues here, and they're going to get Britton Williams' car up on the rollback, we've talked about this a lot over the course of the season and during the entirety of the Pirelli World Challenge Championship history. You have to have very special partners that make things happen, and they have to be quality partners at that. And Jack Baldwin, a legend in sports car racing, found just one of those. And as we asked him a little bit earlier to sit down and tell us a bit about AFE Power.
At Pirelli World Challenge, our series is made up for the finest brands in the world, the greatest sports cars in the world. We try to associate ourselves with likewise companies, like-minded companies with quality parts and accessories. AFE Products is one of those companies. So because AFE Power Products became a sponsor at Pirelli World Challenge, it gave me the opportunity to look at their products. I tried their Momentum HD intake system, and boy, did it work well in my 2500 HD Duramax. I was curious, I was interested, I put it on my truck. It really made the difference. It took a truck that was sluggish and made it very drivable. They make quality products, and I know they do because I've tested them. So we're really proud to have them. Anybody out there looking for something better for their car, their truck, their RV, any of that stuff, look at their product line because they do make serious, highly engineered, very well-built products.
Quality partners means quality competition. We're lucky to have them. Thanks very much to AFE Power. Here's the story that's unfolding, though. The 98 of Lewis down to the pits. Gino is there. What's the word?
Well, the word is it's a mess and it's frantic, and they're trying to figure it out. They're touching every wire. Turns out the charge pipe dislocated itself and disconnected. He came in with no power. Up on the jack stands. They hope to get him back out.
Wow, what a development in the final race of the championship. These cars have been just exceptionally solid, and unfortunately, this could be the worst time for it to happen. So obviously, we're going to be continuing here in the Hyundai pit and also out on the track with the cleanup. And while that unfolds, we'll step away. We'll be right back with more from Watkins Glen International. Looks like they might have Lewis's car ready to head back out on track. With you here on the web, and want to once again thank everybody that has joined us, not just this weekend, but all season long, in particular here on our coverage on the global web feed as well as on Sirius XM. Thank you so much for doing it, and we appreciate it. Obviously, we're going to be doing our dips and breaks as we build our CBS Sports Network show, but what an unfortunate time for something like this to happen. At least it was under caution, but the problem is that he's going to have to hustle around here and catch this pack. It should be fun watching him come through it, though.
It should, but when you look at the points table, Michael Lewis was the only person, even if Ryan Eversley has a DNF himself. Mark Wilkins is not close enough in the points to overhaul him, so it's dependent on Michael Lewis to get back in the big points, even if Eversley has trouble for Hyundai to have a chance here today. But this has really been the story of the season. Michael Lewis had a retirement at VIR the next day. Wilkins did, and then Wilkins had his second one of the year at Portland. And other than that, it could have been a totally different picture in this driver's chase.
Well, it's interesting because you look at all the stats, and when you take a look at wins, fast laps, poles, etc., the numbers all favor Lewis, but it's the one non-point score. Eversley's just kept piling the points on.
He has. It's been a perfect season from the team in terms of reliability and getting the car to the checkered flag. And when it's this tight, I mean, you just can't afford that bad points day.
Well, it's going to be fun watching him work his way through the field, no question about that. In the TCA category, Travis Wache, when the caution came out, as we said, had been able to hang on to that lead in the Indian Summer Racing entry. And great story for Travis as well. Great to have him back in the championship. Then Patterson. And then Jose De Silva. What a great story that is in the South 6 Ives Motorsports machine. And he said, we're hearing, he said, that there's going to be some nice things developing with the Global MX-5 Cup car that should make it a real competitor in the TCA category. And he said, we want to run here because if that's true, we want to be around for a full season go. Ends up with it. Top 5 yesterday. That was great stuff.
It really is, and could be even better today. He's currently in a podium position.
Well, field all gathered up now behind the safety vehicle. And we've definitely got the car of Lewis is starting to hustle its way around, and we get word we are going green this time by. Lights will be going out on the safety car, so we're looking forward to that. We're going to pause here, and we will be back with our CBS Sports Network call as we go to green. And welcome back, everybody. Lights out on the BMW safety vehicle. So we are going to be going back to green flag racing in very short order. But before we do, let's get back down to pit lane. We saw the problems for the 98 Hyundai of Lewis. Gino, what's the word from the Tech Sport crew and Eric Powell?
Well, I'm sitting here with Deb Anderson, the co-owner of Tech Sport. And Deb, another misfortunate situation.
You know what? This is racing. This is how it goes. We had two of our drivers get into each other. PJ's car is not going to be going back out, and neither is Brett and Williams. Otherwise, you know, we still have 3 cars out there. It's amazing how well they're doing, and we're really, really proud of them. This is when you run 5 cars. This is what it looks like sometimes.
Thank you very much, Deb. We wish you the best.
Thank you.
Well, that's a great attitude to have, that, you know, sometimes the number game does work against you when you're in close quarters racing. It's just interesting, though, what that big plume of smoke was, because Powell hasn't pitted. He stayed out.
It's ironic if there was some fluid on the racetrack that one of the other team cars affected to drivers further behind in the pack.
Absolutely.
The same team.
Here's a look at Travis Wachet and then Indian Summer Racing VW. Just wanted to give a mention. It's great to have him back in the championship. It's his birthday tomorrow, and his whole family's here. And his dad is with me. He said he's been going to races with me since I first started. He said our first ever race was right here at the Watkins Glen in a Volkswagen in 1995. And he said a big thanks to his friend and crew chief who helped get him here. Nice job. And we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing, and it flies. And Eversley now a bit unleashed at this stage. Jumps into the lead, but you can see Wilkins slots into second. Then it's Filippi, and then JT Kupal now up into 4th. And we've talked about the speed we've seen from him. Interesting to see if he can pull out a podium today.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe Ryan Eversley believes the safest place to be is out front. If he can gap Mark Wilkins here over a lap or so and just sit there would be the best place to be. He's not thinking race victory today. He wants that championship. Michael Lewis has had his car fixed. He's back out there at the very tail end of the pack, but seems to have power once again. So that's the good news, as Filippi now makes a move on Wilkins. Just clears by him there.
Nice
wow, that's
job.
Unbelievable. He did that on the restart yesterday. And just takes that position away from Mark Wilkins.
That's with an outside move, too. That's brazen. And he pulled it off. No question about that. And, of course, for Lewis, as he should get through the TCA field fairly quickly, he gets to the back of this TCR field, it's going to get a little tougher. He's going to need another caution of some sort to really, I think, be able to bring him into play here, don't you think?
You would have to think so,
yeah,
because he's got to get into the big points to even be a factor here today. He's got a long road ahead of him, but if he could cut through first the TCA cars and then the first half of this TCR field, maybe it could be a factor as we look at Wilkins trying to get that position back. Kind of surprised at the move that Filippi's able to make on the straightaways around Wilkins, because when we saw Lewis and Eversley together yesterday, the two competitive manufacturers going head-to-head, there didn't seem to be that much in it. Maybe Eversley had a slight edge, but Filippi seems to have a distinct advantage over Wilkins.
We drop back now to the story in the TCA field again. Driver the number 94, Tom O'Gorman, has already clinched the championship, and it's his second championship in 3 years after winning the 2016 Touring Car B-Spec Championship. There's that bit of smoke again from Powell. It doesn't seem to be doing much to him for speed. He's trying to straight line to the apex, and great track awareness there by O'Gorman, who did not turn all the way to the apex.
Yeah, and I think if there's an opening, the frustration of Eric Powell this second half of the year, he's going to be going for it. Tom O'Gorman has clinched the Drivers' Championship. He had that clinched even before coming into the weekend. Eric Powell could have tied him on points, but Tom O'Gorman was always going to win it on the tie-break situation, but it was going to be so close it may have had to go back to third-place finishes, let alone wins in seconds.
There they are battling. You saw up front the Wachet leading from Patterson in the little gap. De Silva under pressure now from the 89 of Jeff Sexton. Sexton down to the inside. Nice respect there. Both those guys giving each other just enough room.
That was close. See the smoke continuing to emanate there from the tail end of Powell's car. God, I wonder if that's going to hang on for the last 25 minutes of this race.
That's what I was going to say. It's getting more and more frequent, it seems, and that's never a good sign. Doesn't seem to have, like we said, hurt him terribly in terms of straight line speed. Oh, look at this move. Power move by now the 89 of Jeff Sexton as he sweeps up and around Jose De Silva and picks that spot up. So Sexton in the TransUnion First Wealth Financial Group, Techsport Subaru, picks up that spot now and moves into a podium position. And now De Silva looks in his mirrors and sees the champ, O'Gorman.
Yeah, Tom O'Gorman's car has certainly been hooked up here over this weekend. Extremely quick. Had the pole, dominating race yesterday. Had fastest lap by nearly 2 seconds on the rest of the field, but then had that post-race technical infraction where they found some parts on his car were not, paperwork, as Gino alluded to, had not been filed, and so the homologation becomes a factor. And either way, he's still running the pass today with a bit more weight on it to make up for it, I guess. Look at this, 3 wide here as Powell gets to the inside of Tomo.
Boy, De Silva having none of it, just holding his own here. And O'Gorman said, we'll be able to do the race.
Powell's out of
He
it.
suddenly just lost all drive, didn't he?
Yeah, he suddenly's got some kind of power issue there.
Yeah.
Shut it down momentarily. What a season for Eric Powell. Such a talented young man.
Yes.
Very much in the mix. Had the victories going his way early in the season, but just cannot catch a break here now.
No, he's very hands-on in that team. Does a lot of work in the cars as well. He's fully committed and really, really quick. You take a look at Tom O'Gorman, and he's starting to show some speed. Gino, I would assume if they're running a little extra weight, they've got some concerns, but not showing a lot of it now.
Well, I just talked to his crew chief again, and that was my concern. Is he having, going to have some issues? Is he going to run a little slower? And she assured me that no, Tomo still has the speed. His goal is to go all the way to the front and try to win this race in big style.
I think he's going to try and manage it, though, because there's some heavy brake zones at this racetrack. A lot of grip, which means you can really get onto the brake pedal really late. That means it really creates a lot of braking temperature, and with the extra weight, that's just going to exaggerate that a little bit. So Eversley comfortable up front right now. Philippi continuing to feel the heat from behind from Mark Wilkins.
And the number 95 of Powell down in pit lane has finally had to pull in, and they're having a look at it. And for Michael Lewis in the charge through the pack, he is up through the TCA field now, sits 11th overall. With you here on the web, just getting a report from Pitlane and Powell that they looked at the car and there was no sign of fluid up underneath the engine anywhere that they could find it. So not exactly sure, but makes you wonder why suddenly Powell just completely checked up out there.
Yeah, that was strange. He's had some electronic issues as well this weekend, and then the engine lost compression yesterday during the race. So all sorts of drama for this team and this young man.
Yeah, it's been a tough go. And the interesting thing is the first half of the season, all he did was put up 3 wins, 6 podiums, 4 poles. I mean, the guy's for real. But sometimes you have those years that if you have any luck, it's just bad.
Well, he doesn't have a massive budget to work through.
This
so when you start to have these technical issues, if you're not able to really put the car back to 1,000,000%, the stress and the strain of the racing season will come back to bite you a little bit. I'm not saying that's the case, certainly.
Sure.
It's a great team, and I'm sure they've been going through it with a fine-tooth comb, but just can't seem to get it right at the moment.
Well, of course, as a member, not just a driver, but a member of the Tech Sport team, it's a customer program, and so you have problems on your car, but one of your paying customers has an issue. You're going to be working on that one too, and that can put you a little bit behind. And, it's just weird how it just loads up in that left-hand corner or those right-hand corners. But that doesn't look like body rub. Curious.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, they certainly didn't see anything. They sent him back out there, but you got the leaders coming up on him, so hopefully there's no fluid going down right in front of Eversley and company.
Oh, that's a very good point. That's going to be a great concern here. And we're going to pause here as we're going to be coming back with our CBS Sports coverage in just a couple seconds. And here comes Ryan Eversley down the front straight, chased by his teammate Mason Filippi and Mark Wilkins. And you can see the number 95 of Eric Powell back out, still smoking a bit, did a nice job getting well out of the way as Eversley came through. And I'm sure he'll do the favor for everybody else here. There he goes, just moves over, says, come on by. But Eversley is making good on an escape right now. He's opened that margin up to a 2.5 seconds. I think he's just doing what he wants to do here, build a little bit of a gap.
Well, he's certainly got a very fast car here this weekend, and he's driving beautifully. I think he was more than willing to let Michael Lewis maybe have this win and just follow him, and maybe some of the others too. But he's found himself at the front. He's gapped the field. Now he just needs to hit his marks and count down the laps, count down the minutes to the checkered flag.
Well, there are a few things better than winning a championship with a win in the final round here, and in so doing, it would also tie him with Lewis for most wins on the season, and I'm sure, you know, those are numbers that are important to you.
Absolutely. It's been a brilliant season. As we said, 100% reliability. Looking at this little battle, looking at the speed charts, I mean, Wilkins is pretty much in Philippe's draft, but he's still a couple of miles an hour down in straightaway speed, so I wonder if there's something slightly amiss with the Wilkins number 99, because he doesn't seem to have the pace of the 98 here this weekend, his teammate, and they've been so close, just chopping and changing all season long in terms of who was the faster of the Hyundai drivers.
That's a good point, because he just didn't have that speed yesterday either, did he?
No, it was a real struggle for him, and Phillippe got the better hand and got the run on him, just as we saw earlier in this race. And even though Mark is hounding him, he's a super clean driver. He's not going to take any risk and take Mason out. So it's going to be a long afternoon, I think, for Mark Wilkins.
Absolutely. Just need to give a shout out here to Jeremy Daniel in the racing company, M1 GT Audi Sport. He started this race. He didn't finish. He had an issue yesterday and finished at the very back of the field, and that's where he started in terms of TCR. In practice, he showed some very stout speed, but it didn't pay off. He has augured his way now up into a top 5 after starting 12th on the field. That's a heck of a run by Jeremy Daniel. And this would be the next guy he'd be going after, is JT Football in the Compass Racing entry with the Race Day Foundation support on the car as well, as he sits in 4th. There's Jeremy.
Yeah, it's a great drive. Great to see that team back. Family run operation, and had some technical issues yesterday with the race car, but obviously have those rectified, and hopefully you can see the checkered flag today, and a top 5 would be a great result for that group. Looking at fastest lap of the race, Michael Lewis just set it at a 158.0, a couple of tenths quicker than Eversley. So he's got pace, and there you see him at the back of this pack now, slicing his way through.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't know what a charge pipe is, but apparently it's important because he's flying.
Yeah, he really is.
Wow.
And this will be fun. You know, they knew that Eversley needed to have trouble today for the championship to come Michael's way, so this will be a fun drive coming through the field, and wouldn't be surprised to see him up in the top 5 by the end.
I think it's entirely possible. At a 58 flat right now, and the couple of others are in the 58.2 range. But yeah, he is on the move, and now coming up and closing on the back of the number 72 of Nate Vincent, who's driving the FCP Euro by HRD Liqui-Moly VW.
A great little team that is. Certainly had a lot of fun watching those guys learn their way with this TCR platform. Great group, great product, and a big part of our championship.
Absolutely, fielding 2 really stout cars in those Liqui-Moly VWs. And HRD is Heinlein Racing Development, that team. And a guy who had working for that team now has been in Pirelli World Challenge Racing, actually fielded Lawson Aschenbach to a GT championship back in the day. John Groom, part of that program.
Yeah, and it's great to have experience like that on hand when you're trying to jump up to the big leagues here with this TCR class this year. But look up front here. What a day for Washay.
Boy, he is just gapping everybody. Part of it because these guys are in their own little battle here, as Sexton has worked his way up into 2nd. Teammate Patterson, the 79 right there, who won it yesterday, sits in 3rd. And then yesterday's winner on track, but again lost it in post-race tech. Tom O'Gorman is showing that he's willing to go after it today.
Oh, big move down to the inside. That was nice. I think maybe go time for Tom O'Gorman. He's got to manage those brakes with the extra weight on board. And he may have something for this little pack he's in right now, but Washay has kind of gapped everyone here by about 3 seconds. He's got some work to do to catch him if he can get by Sexton.
Well, brakes and tires to manage, but the one thing that might be playing into Tomo's favor here is that long caution, too.
Yeah, certainly it takes time off the board, so you don't have to manage it for as long. But here you can see he just doesn't have the straightaway speed that he saw yesterday. So weight certainly affects everything. It affects your braking performance, cornering speed, getting rolling speed through the corner, exit speed. And he's having to fight a lot harder today than he was yesterday.
How about this drive by Jose De Silva, who is just mixing it up with these guys. The only races he's done this year was Circuit of the Americas in Lime Rock, and his best finish there was a 7th at Lime Rock Park, but he has come alive here in that South 6 Mazda Global MX-5 Cup machine, the white entry there. And when he's in the mix, he's willing to race it with him.
Patterson all over the back of Tomo. We can do here. Straightaway speed over Tomo in another section. Pretty even there on the run down to turn 1.
Wache right now has just about 3 seconds in hand back to Sexton. And there he goes whistling up the hill. Meanwhile, we come back to this battle, and Lewis is now starting to attack on the 72 of Vincent.
Yeah, and each person he comes up on right now is going to be tougher and tougher because they got relatively better and better pace, so there's going to be no easy pickings for Michael Lewis at this stage of the game. You see how even they are down this front straightaway now. There's certainly been some balance and performance changes which have really brought these DSG gearbox cars at VW and Audi a lot closer to the Hondas and the Hyundais in the field.
And that's what I was saying. The farther up you get when you get to your TCR group, the tougher the passes are going to be. But Michael Lewis is going to continue to go after it here at Watkins Glen. With you here on the web for just a little bit here. This is one of the interesting things. You know, a lot of these guys, they've been chasing this guy all season long. Now they have an opportunity. These are passes for position. They can race and defend and do whatever they want to do. And I'm sure they're having a little bit of a smile in there going, oh, so this is what it feels like.
Nate Vincent has been a fierce competitor this year, and he's hanging on to this position really, really well right now. Lewis looks to the inside. He's going to be very strong on the brakes there. Is there enough of a gap? Has to give it up. Fierce racing right there. Good, clean racing. Nate didn't close the door, but he certainly wasn't going to give it to him. Michael Lewis is going to have to earn this position.
Absolutely. I think that was a smart move by Lewis because Nate had just enough, and he was turning into that corner. And I'm not sure there was enough room for a piece of paper between those two cars at that turn-in point.
No, there wasn't. This FCP Euro entry is really being driven very well. This just showcases if you're just a little bit off, like we're seeing Wilkins this weekend, doesn't seem to have quite the pace of Philippi. You're just going to shadow someone, but it's tough to have enough of an advantage to make the pass stick. And these cars have a lot of aero, so they roll a lot of speed. There's not a big braking zone. When you have a car with less aero, you got to stop the car a little bit more going down into the corners, which lengthens the brake zone, gives you more opportunity to make a pass.
Let's not forget, in front of these two doing a heck of a job is Anthony Girazzi once again in the HRD Audi Sport RS3 LMS with European Granite Marble Surfaces support as he continues to lead this group, sitting in 6th. Girazzi in 6th, the 72 of Vincent 7th, Lewis in 8th at this stage. I'm keeping an eye on what
Tomo for a ride. Wow.
That gives you an idea of how hard he's working.
Yeah, using his drifting skills to perfection there.
And here comes Eversley here. This is when it gets fascinating. The TCR guys are now coming up, working their way through this group of TCA machines. And O'Gorman, what an opportunistic move right there. Welcome back, everybody. And this is when the war begins. The TCR leaders working through these serious combatants in the TCA class. It is getting fascinating as this unfolds here at Watkins Glen International. And Ryan Eversley doing the bob and weave, literally threading the needle through some of this traffic. And while we were in break, we had Tom O'Gorman sideways through the inner loop. Lots unfolding here.
Yeah, and I tell you what, this is one area that Ryan Eversley has been dynamite with this year, is in terms of dealing with traffic.
Yes.
Been super aggressive, even with the championship on the line here today. He's cutting and thrusting and making big moves.
And there is a look at O'Gorman. Let's go back and take a look at what happened while we were in break right before this happened, Cal.
He tries to make that outside move, has to give it up, otherwise there's going to be contact, cuts through the grass. Now he misses his competitors as Sexton continues through this. Patterson going for a ride.
And watch what happens if we let this roll here. This was a hugely opportunistic move. Well, we're not going to see it. It was unbelievable because it got him an opening, and O'Gorman just shot down through as soon as Eversley went through, followed him right through the gap, and gave that position right back to him. That's savvy racecraft.
Well, it is, but it's also, problems here.
Oh, that's Dwight Merriman.
Yeah, this is coming out of the boot.
Said there's another car involved. We don't see him at this stage. Oh, that's the 98 of Lewis. Is that Lewis that's pulled off up there? It's the 99 of Wilkins we're getting the report. Oh, boy.
There's a big gaggle of cars coming into that corner. Obviously, the communication got a little bit sideways between the competitors, one would assume.
And so now Wilkins is just limping his way down into the pits. Merriman got turned around and continues. We have a full course caution that has just been called.
Well, this will help out Michael Lewis. He's now up to the 6th position with the problems for these guys, so he may have something for a podium. We said maybe a top 5 was on the cards. He may have a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, that tire barrier and the wrap around it over in turn 9 has been getting a lot of abuse this weekend.
Yeah, it seems like Wilkins has got a real issue. He can't even roll down pit lane at full pit lane speed here.
Yeah, something's amiss. I don't know that him pulling off and Merriman's incident were necessarily related.
Well, Mark's season has certainly unraveled after that victory at Portland. I think he was within 3 points of Eversley in the championship, then failed to see the green flag in round 2, and suddenly nothing is going right.
Yeah, we get a report that, the 99 of Wilkins just suddenly slowed after exiting turn 9 and just pulled over and stopped. Gino, any word yet from the team?
Well, not yet. He just pulled in, and he pulled in it quite slow because he has no power. This engine was coasting in. So I will stick by and see what's going on.
All right, thanks very much. But, boy, I'll tell you, for a team that has had such success this year, this has just been a tough event today for this team, no question about it. So, well, again, under our second full course caution for the event, we're going to maybe take a little bit of a pause here, but we do want to remind you on our way here that you can follow all the news at the Pirelli World Challenge. And believe me, there's lots unfolding as we lead into 2019. The best way to do it is download the new Fan app. Go to the Apple App Store or Google Play App Store and search for the Fan app and get in deep. Now, you can also follow along on many other social platforms. On Facebook, just search for PWC Championship. On Twitter, just search for @WC Racing. And on Instagram, you got a double shot. It's either hashtag Pirelli WC or hashtag Pirelli World Challenge. And as always, check in with Pirelli World Challenge's online site, world-challenge.com. Oh, as you can see here, the 99 now, Wilkins on track and got waved around as well by the safety vehicle. Boy, that's a gift. He didn't go down a lap.
Right, that is huge. But time is running out for Mark Wilkins. Only 7 minutes on the board compared to his teammate who had an issue earlier in the race. And I'm not sure he's up to speed.
It doesn't look like it. He's rolling along awfully slowly. Unless they have now said you shouldn't have been waved by and they're asking him to wait for the field to come by. That's a possibility. Well, we'll suss all that out for you here when we come back to Watkins Glen. But Eversley, Philippi, and Kupal leading in the TCR category 1, 2, 3, and TCA. It's Travis Wache, Jeff Sexton, and Tomo Gorman. Welcome back, everybody. Lights out on the safety vehicle. You know, the track workers here at the Glen have figured out how to fix that turn 9 barrier really quickly. They've had a lot of
practice today.
So we are going to be able to go back to green. Let's go back and take a look at what may have precipitated that incident with the off here, Cal. There was Wilkins sitting there.
See Wilkins much further down the road. Then there's two cars close together. Merriman certainly the one that made contact with the tire wall there on the exit of turn 9.
And the other car was the 37, the Tooth Autosport entry of Killeen. So maybe there was a little touch there. And certainly Merriman got into those barriers, but Wilkins had already pulled over and stopped.
Yeah, then he found some life to get it back to pit lane, got back out there, but still doesn't seem to have full power.
You know, there are those who might suggest that Wilkins was trying to effect a full course caution to help his teammate out, but he was so far down the road and off at that point.
Yeah, such a stretch, though. I mean, yeah, Michael Lewis has not only got to pass Eversley for the lead, he's several cars back still, and he still needs Eversley to drop further down the order, but why not? It's a good story. Go with it.
All right, well, we're getting ready to go green, and we'll look for it here. Lewis sits 6th right now, so see what he's able to do in these final 4.5 minutes. And in TCA, that big margin that Wache had built up, Cal, is now gone. There he is. He's got a TCR car, a couple of them, between himself and his closest pursuer, Sexton, so that's not going to exactly hurt. But wow, there are cars passing, and we're not green yet, and there were cars already passing. That could be a bit of a problem, but right now, here we go. Eversley and Mason Filippi, they're just gone.
They are. JT Kupal up to the 3rd position, so this is now a battle for the final podium spot. Daniel, a big run around the outside, trying to make a move there to take that 3rd position.
And the reason, of course, that those lead two got out there was that Kupal was behind Wache. That's one of the reasons he just decided, I can't wait, I'm going, and we'll deal with it later. And that was the reason for that huge gap. But the two real-time Honda Civic Type Rs are gone right now.
They really have. JT hangs on to that 3rd position. You see a little bit of a body flap there on Daniel's car. Try to make the move down into turn 1. It seems like he's lost a position, actually.
He did, yeah. Girazzi was able to get back around him with that exchange. And Lewis got around Vincent, but had to defend on Vincent heading into the inner loop.
Well, they had a bunch of TCA cars mixed in there with the leaders, so even though Lewis was 6th, he was about 12th in line when we went back to green.
And there he comes. Now has a little bit of breathing room back to Vincent, but he has a lot of room now. He's got to try and make up just to get to the tail end of Daniel. Daniel, who now sits in that 5th spot, so that did not work too well for Lewis, did it?
He didn't, but it's a stretch anyway. I mean,
yes.
In terms of the championship, Eversley has the lead. He's just got to somehow get it to the flag with only 2.5 minutes remaining in this race. The championship should go his way.
So we're watching these guys stream through here. There's a look at Lewis. There's Vincent. There's his teammate Michael Hertzen. There's Jared Andretti. And there's Travis Wache. And I'll tell you, that didn't really hurt him too bad because of those TCR cars he had between himself and Sexton. That gap pretty much maintained itself. Sexton holds on to 2nd, and O'Gorman is 3rd, but Patterson is not letting him get clear.
No, he's not. Well, what a drive by Wache to maintain that gap is something else. Didn't see that one coming today.
Not at all.
Tomo's car has definitely lost its edge that it's had all weekend long. Passed us by a bundle in qualifying and in the race yesterday. Now he's just trying to defend.
It's amazing when you get into these smaller cars and you start putting some weight on them, it becomes a bigger percentage of weight that it can really affect the handling.
See there, the front end, really a lot of steering input by Tomo down through turn 1, and he doesn't get the exit speed he's looking for.
Oh, look at this now. He's going to get that outside run, Patterson is, which gives him the inside here, and that's a drag race. And Tomo, if he could stay put, might be okay into the inner loop. As we're watching this, just got word that Anthony Girazzi will have a drive-through penalty for indeed jumping that restart. I sort of saw that as he made the move going into turn 11. Can he? Yes, O'Gorman able to get through here. Whoa!
Bicycling through the inner loop there.
Decided I need to carry some speed at least once through here.
New meaning to driving the wheels off it. He only had 2 on the car for a moment. Touching the ground at least.
Exactly. Getting word white flag this time by. And so we'll have to see whether at least O'Gorman is still sitting in that 3rd spot. Eversley and Filippi well clear of everybody up front over Kupal and Girazzi. And he'll either, if he doesn't make the stop, they'll give him a time penalty that's essentially a drive-through equivalent. So should put Jeremy Daniel regardless back up. But look at this again, O'Gorman trying to survive the attack. And here we go, white flag for Ryan Eversley.
Look at that. Wow, that was right on the number there. They'd slowed him down a sniff. Maybe he could have grabbed the checkered flag a lap earlier.
I have a feeling, knowing what's been unfolding behind him, Ryan's going, no, I'll stay out for another lap. This is fun.
I tell you what, though, with the championship on the line.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I know he's enjoying life right now, but I think he'd be enjoying it even more if he'd seen the checkered already today.
Yeah, and clarification now coming from race control, because it hit at that exact point. He said, race control said, this is the final lap. Checker flag next time by. Yes, it was close, but we're racing to the checkers. So, and here's that battle. So
Lewis has caught this little pack here.
He has.
So he can see third position up ahead of him. He's got fifth right in front of him, Jeremy Daniel. What moves can he make here with just half a lap remaining?
Yep, and even though it won't do anything in terms of helping win the championship, getting one of these cars in the podium, important obviously for Hyundai. And with the penalty for Girazzi, if he can get by Daniel, that might just play out. He certainly has added yet another fast lap to his collection this year. It would be his 9th in 12 races, assuming it holds.
That's quite the statement.
Oh, isn't it?
And a fun season to watch. Just those little mechanical gremlins that have put he and his teammate out in comparison to Ryan Eversley's charge this year.
He looks to the inside of Daniel there at the heel of the boot, but can't quite get through. JT Kupal, this will be a celebration for the Compass team. They had a big incident, involved a big incident in the GTS race at Utah in the Sprint X race, so to come back here and put one of their cars in the podium, I'm sure will be sweet indeed. Oh, watch for Lewis here to see, does he try and dive to the inside at 11? Not able to do it. Meanwhile, it is a sweep of the front two positions, real-time. Honda Civic Type R's come through, and with the win, Ryan Eversley clinches the championship. What a fabulous story for one of the more popular drivers in sports car racing today. Meanwhile, going back to what's unfolding in the TCA category, Travis Wache in that Indian Summer Racing machine is pretty much clear of everybody and driving away in his United Motorsport entry. But this battle for second, third, and fourth, and O'Gorman simply could not hold off the 79 of Patterson here.
He couldn't. Just didn't have enough in the tank here today.
So for the Tech Sport team, even though Wache and VW winning TCA at Watkins Glen, what a birthday present he gave himself. It's his birthday tomorrow, as I said. But then Tech Sport completing the podium with problems for a few of their cars still, bringing Jeff Sexton and Spencer Patterson home second and third. And there's Tom O'Gorman. And with everything that has unfolded, the simple fact of the matter is he was already champion before the green flag flew. So a good year for the guy they call Tomo.
Yeah, brilliant day, but the manufacturer's title goes to Subaru, and Tech Sport get the team championship.
So nice platitudes handed out to everybody here. But he gets a little bit of hardware, and that's a nice way to do it. And for Ryan Eversley, as we said, such a popular character. And he actually had a post on Twitter where he said, I know I've gone a little quiet. He said, but I really wanted to focus on what's unfolding here this weekend. I want to get this one done and do it right. And man, did he finish it with some great verve, no question. So let's take a look at our overall results. Eversley, Philippi, and Kupal complete the podium in TCR. And overall, the number 4 of Daniel, and then the number 98 of Lewis. And you can see that Girazzi, even though he came through on the line, they have established that drive-through equivalent penalty. So Lewis does at least crack the top 5, Cal.
Yeah, no, it's a good comeback drive from him, but he'll be disappointed. He had the lead of the race with that technical issue, but another strong season for Michael Lewis.
And you take a look, that's the TCR results at this stage. We want to just let everybody know that the EVP Racing Fuel Hard Charger Award winner comes from the TCA ranks. And it is the 89 of Jeff Sexton, up 5 spots overall during the course of the race. So another accolade going to the folks from Tech Sport. So, all right, well, we are having our field getting ready to come down into Victory Circle. We will hear from our winners and champions when we come back. Ryan Eversley, with a yell, steps out of that Honda Civic Type R. The celebration begins. Look at that. He is absolutely elated, and understandably so. Yeah, you don't need the roof on that car anymore for the rest of the year. Look at the emotion he's showing, and I think there's a reason for that, Cal. oftentimes in what he's been doing in racing, he's been the pro driver in a combo pairing. He doesn't get to qualify, and sometimes he doesn't get a part in the championship. This one is his, and you could see how much that means.
It was hard fought. He had two very competitive guys going up against him in Mark Wilkins and Michael Lewis, but he resisted that challenge, and on the big weekends when it really mattered, he and this team brought together a really fast race car, and Ryan brought it home with a double victory.
And he didn't have that consistent full-season wingman that was the same caliber that he was until they brought Mason Filippi in for the last couple of races. So this one was really on Ryan's shoulders, and it was obvious he was feeling it, but he's earned it, and it's fabulous, and Gino is ready to talk to him.
And he did it all in the number 43 real-time Civic Type R. This is what a championship feels like. And it looks like. Tell us how it really, truly feels, Ryan.
I feel like I'm not going back to the mill. That's for sure. I can't believe we just did that. 1-2 finish with the Honda Civic Type R. All year long, I've been praising the reliability of the Honda. Once again, it showed today that we had the strongest car, maybe not only on pace, but on reliability and user friendliness, and that's what makes a great race car. And it's a testament to Honda, everybody at the factory building these street cars into awesome race cars. I couldn't do it without these guys. Real time, they've won like 1,000 championships, and I got to win one with them. That's all I wanted out of life, so I'm so thankful. You come here. Thank you.
Look at that. P.D. Cunningham, who, of course, is the founder and principal and legend with real-time racing. Absolutely fantastic. And once again, take a look at those TCR results, and the story shows right there. And again, do want to say a big welcome to the folks from Tooth Autosport, Eddie Killeen and Travis and Terrence Hill. Trevor Hill, the Ottawa-based team who's decided to come down and see just what this was all about, and might be able to see them a bit more in the future as well. So, over the course of the season, Cal, you talked about it, 4 full-time manufacturers involved, 5 at one point with Alfa Romeo, and certainly put together some exciting, exceptional racing. And this has an absolutely great one. But, of course, we had the TCA category racing as well. And, Gino, I'll tell you, Travis Wache, birthday tomorrow, he gave himself one heck of a present.
Travis Wache is our winner in TCA today with a birthday tomorrow. I don't even know. Could this guy be more of a winner? Check this out. Congratulations, Travis.
No, I got the best family, the best crew. It's really what we were hoping for. We've been working really hard within World Challenge. Marcus House of Grill has just been with us, communicating with us to help us get this car where it needs to be. There's hopefully more come to the series. Nick Jacob, my crew chief, has just been amazing. No matter what he does, he still saves time for me. My wife and kids, they understand it. They want to come to the track. They want me to be here. My dad's here. We were here first in '95. That's amazing. And here we are. And I was in a Volkswagen, looked a lot like this, but a lot older. And here we are again. I mean, we love this series. We love the build that we can build a car from a car you buy online. Just not factory stuff, that still exists. You can build your own car and come race. And that's what TCL is all about. TCA is just amazing.
I think he absolutely said it all. He's got it right there. And look at him with his beautiful family. Congratulations, Travis.
I think you're right, Gino. I think we clipped that 30 seconds. There's a commercial for Pirelli World Challenge. That's beautiful.
Congratulations. That's pretty awesome to see.
Isn't that a neat story? Here's a look at the results for TCA and officially the 2 Tech Sport machines, Sexton and Patterson, completing the podium. As you said, that obviously helped them onto a manufacturer championship win for Subaru. O'Gorman hanging in there for 4th, and Jose De Silva, impressive. Looking forward to seeing that. So, again, let's take a look at the point scenario. Eversley clinches in TCR manufacturers.
Well, it was Hyundai. They clinched that yesterday. Very strong season between their 2 guys. Lewis finished 2nd in the championship. Mark Wilkins 3rd, and Filippi 4th in the driver standings.
You take a look at the TCA points, as we talked about. O'Gorman was already the driver champion coming in, but there was still some stuff to play for.
There really was. Eric Powell certainly had his sights on climbing back up the board, but at the end of the day, another strong race for Patterson and Sexton. They round out the top 3.
Well, there you have the story. It has been a fascinating year with TCR and its full first season with the championship, mated with TCA, which has produced some spectacular racing as well. And it's only going to get better as we move into the future for the Pirelli World Challenge with TCR and TCA. We sure hope you join us in the future in 2019 and experience everything that's unfolding in these great categories. That wraps up our season for 2018. It always ends too early, but we can't wait for it to start once again. For Calvin, Gino, and our entire CBS Sports Network crew, I'm Greg Creamer. Thank you so much for joining us in association with WC Vision. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.